I made a little speech about moving forward in collaboration between the high school and PERTA, and that was discussed at some length. Anything that I missed, Craig?
No, that was about all I got out of it. It was a great meeting, I thought.
Okay, anything else, Bob?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you. All right, superintendent report.
Madam Chair, I apologize. We're going to do an oral report today because it's been kind of a hectic week, to say the least. I think I've been on the job 17 days, real close to 17 days, and I will say that everybody that I've met have been very supportive. The GCA, I've had an opportunity to sit down with them, and I think we're going to have a great relationship moving forward. Administratively, today we had an excellent training that was put on by Summit Solution Tree, and Dr. Roberts put that together for us. I think the data, what we learned as administrators, will be very helpful in the near future. We have some information on, I had a meeting with our principals 2 weeks ago, and some of the recommendations of our district communication plan we're going to be moving forward with. Greg Alexander came up with, discussed the idea of a daily social media blast, and so we're going to try to put something together like that to talk about the positive things that are going on within our district. So we're going to really be focusing on that. Mr. Loftus, do you know the exact number of how many surplus pieces of equipment you got your department gave away yesterday?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of 300.
300.
I haven't gone through the sheets to count it up, but yeah, quite successful.
So we're moving forward quickly, a little faster than I expected, but so far everybody's been very supportive and very helpful for the things we're doing. So pretty short. So.
Okay. All right, thank you. Maintenance report, Mr. Smith.
Good evening, everybody. So I was asked to show up and give a little recap of the summer. Some of this stuff is are things that we did at the very end of the school year. A couple things that happened on the last day of school, and then kind of just rolled into the summer. I started with Carberry. There's an HVAC unit that feeds the cafeteria. We needed to charge one of the compressors with R22. We lost the TXV valve that created high pressures. We sealed that up, replaced the TXV. When I started, one of those compressors had gone bad before I even started the job. We were running on the primary or the secondary compressor. When I had made the decision to replace that bad compressor at that time, it's something that we've been wanting to do for a while. And I thought, we have this thing opened up, let's just get it done. This was not a levy project. This is just an emergency service project. During the time I was at the Oregon coast, you guys could see that Carberry Elementary's yard was starting to yellow up. The pump had to be pulled. It was sucking up a bunch of muck and mud. So we had to take it, pull it out, went to belly pump, they pressure washed it, cleaned out a bunch of the muck and mud at the bottom of the vault that it sits in. And that seemed to help the problem. So it's greening up, everything's good there. We refinished the gym floor. And that's about all we did there. As far as, I try not to get too detailed here on little things that we're doing. Just the high school, we had a couple leaks in the irrigation main line that were repaired, refinished the gym floor. The new irrigation system that we had installed from the ditch, I don't know, I think that schoolyard is looking better than it's looked in years. We're able to water completely at night, test, repair, and water extra in the daytime if we need to. Did the math, we cut irrigation time 12 hours a day, 7 days a week by installing that pump. Any questions so far?
Do you feel that the power bill will reflect a positive turn?
Yes. Yes, I do. The middle school, gym roof. It's pretty much complete. They're just gonna tie in some little loops for us. They'll heat weld these loops to the TPO, and then we can put the conduits through those because we can't fasten them to the new roofing, and we don't want to fasten them to the new metal that they installed. It caps the wall, and so they're just going to install those, and then we'll run our conduits through, and that job's complete with a little cleanup and haul off. And they're pretty much done with all their cleanup as well. So that job turned out really good. We did install carpet in 2 new classrooms. That as well was a levy project. They were able to squeeze it in this last weekend. So we got 2 of those done. The West Hallway, last Memorial weekend, we had a big rainstorm, if you guys remember, flooded that hallway. So that was an insurance job. We got that stuff all demoed and replaced. It's all finished. Refinished the gym floor there. And then towards I want to say it was the last day of school or second to last day of school, we did lose the irrigation pump there. And I was talking to Billy White from Valley Pump, and he said that something's going on across town where the water levels are changing. And so we had to replace the pump and drop it a little bit. And as I get into Butte View, we're having the same problem, and we had to drop it 6 inches to get into some water. And so it's just kind of all the way down between Carberry, the middle school, and Butte View with irrigation issues. But everything seems to be running fine. We're getting caught up. We had a flow switch that we had to replace in the chiller here at this school. Kind of explain some of the hot nights that you guys experienced here. That was an easy fix. Again, the pump. Ola, we did the evaluation with Trout Architects. And I still haven't heard anything yet from those guys. So it just kind of was available for what those guys needed and got them where they needed to be. And that's as far as I got. Shadow View refinished the gym floor. Suite Montour, we do have that project, which is a little bit more than the junior high job because we have the fascia and the soffit and a lot more metal work. Today, I believe Josh said that they brought out an extra crew that I requested. There was about 5 or 6 more guys there today, helping those guys along. I did have one change order on that job that was on my request for some fresh air jacks that the school currently, they just didn't have. Most of their venting was just through the soffits. And so I asked if we could get some fresh air hoods installed across the roof just for better ventilation and to prolong the life of that roof system. District-wide, we bought and I put the dollar amount of the change order. District-wide, we bought the new vent tractor that was a levy fund again. We did our annual fire alarm, strobe, fire extinguisher inspections. Fire suppression lines for the fire sprinklers where we were going to replace sections of pipe. So it's hot in the attic for those guys to go up there. So I've been up in the attic with my guys a couple of times, and we're hustling to get out of there for repair clamps and whatever. These guys are going to come back when it cools off a little bit on maybe in-service days or maybe Thanksgiving week and get these things replaced and done. And maybe if they can get it on a weekend, get it done. And aside from that, lots of little things I won't bore you with. Any questions?
Madam Chair, the roof that you just did, talk to us about, is it coming on under budget, over budget, on
Which roof?
time?
Which roof?
Both of
Both
them.
of them. The junior high roof is on budget. It's on time.
Okay.
Everything, they did a great job there.
Is it finished?
What's that?
Is it finished?
It's finished
Wow.
other than those loops that we need to just slide the conduit through, which
Okay.
is going to take those guys maybe an hour to do. And that was on a request of mine that I needed my other guy to be with me to be able to lay that stuff out. They did a great job. The suite roof had the change order. I put the dollar amount there. That was my request. That was over budget. They have till Friday afternoon to get their substantial finish. So I'll make an appearance there tomorrow, make another one on Friday, and just kind of see how progress goes. They've doubled up their crew. So until Friday afternoon, I can't give you an answer on if it's, I'd hate to say, hey, they're not going to be done, or they are going to be done until Friday.
This tractor that you purchased.
Yes,
Is it new?
brand new.
Oh, what's it cost?
It was $25,555 right in there.
Just for lawn mowing?
No, not just for lawn mowing. You can get several different attachments. That's why we wanted it. We can get a broom attachment for snow. You can get an aerator attachment from the spring, which we don't have. I don't even have a UTV or an ATV to aerate or fertilize. So we use what the high school had and what the junior high has. But we're taking those items to Sweet. We're taking them to Shadow View here. And so this tractor is going to help us. We can get all different kinds of attachments, from aerators to wood chippers to, we did get a mower attachment with the mulcher. Snow blowers, you can get, anything you need.
Is it a 45? 4500?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has what I would like to purchase with the help of the elementary schools is a power rake attachment, so we can prep the playground bark for all the playgrounds, just to get the fall zones built up and prolong the life of the playground mulch that we buy. It's not cheap. Maybe walking tracks at Shadow View, Sweet. We can clean those up with it. There's a lot of things we can do with this machine. So it's not just for mowing.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Smith?
Well, we're going to talk more, probably in a workshop setting where we can have
Sure,
a more one-on-one and get a little
sure,
better idea of where you're going with maintenance.
sure. And I have a list like you guys wouldn't believe. But it's with the way this summer was and the end of spring, I was directed just kind of put things on hold and let's regroup as the school year gets going and let's readdress some things that need to get done. And so that's where I'm at with a lot of items.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we have talked as a board to start having some work sessions of learning the different departments. And I know you've wanted to talk to the board in the past, so we've been talking about maybe meeting with Josh and Caleb,
Sure.
and then we can have more in-depth discussion of schedules and projects, and so we know where, and you can tell us and
Sure.
we can have our questions answered.
My guys usually work 7 to 3:30, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 8 at night, Saturday, Sunday. So when you
Well,
ask them for a schedule, they're going to tell you they don't stop. They're always on call. They always show up when I need them. So they're a great crew. I'm fortunate to have them.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
all right, thank you.
Yep. You bet.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, transportation report.
Good evening. We've been seeing a lot tonight. So at the transportation department right now, we've had a lot of change this summer. First of all, in June, we had the IAPT summer conference in Boise that our two driver trainers, the secretary and myself went to. I've been going to it now the last 4 years, and they always have really good information, new updates that's going on in transportation. And this year, Governor Brad Little came to the proclamations that I gave you. We all got to witness him signing that this year of 1920 is the school bus safety year. They're really targeting the stop arm violation, trying to get that curb. So that was exciting to be able to be part of that. Our technicians attended the state training workshop in Nampa for 3 days in July. Both of them came back and reported that it was a good training session, picked up some new things. Most of the vendors that they work with have people there to help them out with whatever their specialties were, be it the radios, the camera systems that we had to install. We've had a few little bugs with that. So we use the Angel Tracks camera systems. They actually had a representative there, one of their techs that worked them through some of the quirks that the new systems have. So they had a good time over there. Our entire bus shop team attended the state preseason training last Tuesday at CUNA. This is probably the most talked about training session that my staff has reported on how much they got out of the session. So it was a really good training. It was called Aspen on the Bus, training with Ben Springer. And he talked about one of their programs that they have is an on-hand program, kind of like the CPI program where they teach you how to do student management on the bus. So we're kind of looking at that to see if that's something that we might want to look at instead of the CPI training for next year. We did have a facility inspection done by the Idaho Department of Water Resources in July. They had called and said our facility needed inspected. They didn't have any information on our well or anything on our property there. And so Superintendent Woods was not even on staff yet and was good enough to come up and visit with us while the inspection was done. They were looking for an underground injection well. I had no idea what that was until I went on and Googled it. But I guess years ago when they had facilities where they disposed of motor oils and things, they just did a drill straight down on the ground and everything just ran into it. And they thought that's what we had up there with drains in the shop and everything just went into this, which we don't have any of that there. So it turned out to be a really good eye opener for everybody there. And we did receive a letter from them stating that our facility was good. They had us all reported. They Googled where our well was. So it's now actually on the map. So we have a few things we need to clean up there, but not near what we thought it was going to be. So that was good. Update on the VW DEQ program for the bus replacement. I just got an email from them. Have not had time to read through it all. It was like 42 pages long. So I will get the superintendent Wood, bring him up to speed on where we are on that. And the gist of it is that we are approved. The letter that they sent us is the agreement between what we will do and what they will provide. Once we get that back to them, they will send us, this is what we're going to fund you. And it looks like we're going to get 25% of a new bus. So that was what we've been waiting on since last fall. So that's going to go ahead and come through. So it'll come in handy when we order new buses again. And as you guys have seen on the higher resignation sheets, we've had a lot of change at the bus shop this year. We have lost 9 employees. With that, we lost 3 to retirement. 1 to the middle school who is getting her teaching degree and is working as a para this year. 1, her and her husband sold a bunch of property and they're traveling for a year. 2 moved out of state. 1 had a lifestyle change, and 1, our part-time driver, was going to retire in February anyway, and she's driving clear in from the other side of county line. She actually lives in Payette County and was only working 10 hours a week for us as it was. And she said, I'm paying more to drive back and forth for 2.5 hours than what I'm making. So anyway, we've got all but 3 of those positions filled at this point. So we're back on track and hopefully ready to move forward. Our telephones have been ringing off the hook this last 2 weeks with new students coming in wanting bus service. So it looks like our numbers are coming up. We won't know who's moved out until we run the routes and find out there's nobody there. But for right now, our district's growing, and if it keeps going the way it is this year and what we had last year, we may look to put on a couple more new routes in the next couple of years. So that's what's going on in the bus shop.
So question, you said you had 3 positions, or the full-time bus drivers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all of them, all but the one were full-time positions. But they've been in the last, well, since May.
Hmm.
They've been coming through. One of them's not on the list. I just got her letter this morning. I've been trying to get it for 2 weeks. She had some family. Her mother and father-in-law both passed away within like 2 weeks of each other, and she's just got a lot of stuff going on, so she's making a lot of change.
Do we have enough bus substitutes?
We have one substitute returning from last year until I hired 5 drivers last Monday. One of them was driving for Nampa, so she's ready to roll immediately because she just resigned from over there last month. So she's got all of her credentials ready to go. One is taking her test tomorrow, her driving test, so she'll be ready after she gets that put through the DMV. We have the next one was a driver for 2 years for Meridian in 2005-07, but she let her CDL slide. So she had to go through the whole process again. She's taking her driving test the first day of school. And then the other 2 were brand new, start from square one. As of yesterday, they have both passed all of their written tests. The federal CDL requirements changed a couple years ago. So now when you get through your written tests, which they're all on the computer now, but they still call them written tests, they issue you a permit. Then you have to wait 14 days before you can go take your driving test. So it's about a 4-week process from day one before we can get you online to drive. So we have enough to cover. We may have to get creative with trips the first couple of weeks. Just to make sure we have enough people en route, we may have to have mechanics or myself or secretary drive the activity to the event and come back. And then once the route driver's done, they can go over and pick them up and bring them back. But I think right now we have everything ready to go.
Okay. Shauna, you spoke about a well. Is it licensed? Is it permitted?
Far as I know, it's been there since the building went in.
Well,
But he
when
said,
my place, I had permits, but they weren't licensed. I just wondered if they're.
I have no idea. Like I said, he had a map of all these it showed little wells, but they didn't know where they were at, who they belonged to.